everybody! Welcome back to week 2. We are still talking about Peter and the Wolf, and today we're going to learn about some of the Quaver resources that have to do with Peter and the Wolf. So what I'm going to do is take you through some of the things that I've put on Quaver so that you can check them out and play them at home. So the first thing you're going to do on your tablet, on your iPad, is to go to Safari. And you're going to click on Safari and you're going to type in www.quavermusic.com. And once you're there, you're going to hit the green login button. And I have gone ahead and given everybody a username and password. Now, if you have trouble signing in or you're not sure it's not working for some reason or whatever, any problems that you have, please let me know. You can message me on Seesaw. You can message me on Facebook through my Facebook page or even my personal page. I'm reachable through email. So if you have any problems at all, please let me know because I think it would be easy to fix. I could have been an error on my end where I spelled something wrong, or maybe I used Ben instead of Benjamin or whatever. So just let me know if something doesn't work and I will definitely look into it and help you out. So once you're logged in, you're going to hit assignments where the A+ is, and you're going to see the songs that we talked about last week and a new one on there on the top that says Peter and the Wolf. So you're going to click on Peter and the Wolf, and then you're going to hit launch. There's some directions here, just a little note from me, but then you're going to hit launch. And once you hit launch, it's going to take you to the first slide of all of the lesson that I planned for you. So we're going to go through all of these slides and you can see what we have in store. So the first slide is about our composer. And if you remember, back in the music room for March, our composer of the month was Prokofiev, Sergei Prokofiev, and he wrote the music for Peter and the Wolf. It says, Russian composer Sergei Prokofiev was commissioned to create a musical symphony for children. He composed Peter and the Wolf. And you can hit this little play button right here and it'll play just like a ta-da music here. You can also listen to some of the music. This is when the hunters were walking with Peter and the wolf back to the forest to release the wolf. There's the hunters. I don't know if you can hear that, but... Anyway, you can go ahead and look at that. Then remember how we get through the slides is you hit the bottom, the title on the bottom, and it's going to give you the whole long list of all the things that there is to do in here. So the story of Peter and the Wolf is written here and has just a shortened version of the story, just kind of like a review. And it says, Peter and the Wolf is a musical story about a boy named Peter who explores the meadow with his friends, the bird, the duck, and the cat. Peter's grandfather warns him of the wolves that live in the forest. When brave Peter sees a wolf, he realizes his friends are in trouble. He gets a rope and springs into action. And those of you that listened to the story already know what happened in Peter and the Wolf. The characters, this is a neat page. It goes through all of the different characters, and then we can click on them and learn a little bit more about it. So here you can see all of the characters in their cute little frames, and if we click on them, it says, Brave Peter leaves home to explore the meadow and saves his friends. So we can learn a little bit about each character. The flighty bird is a friend of Peter's, but is nervous of the cat. The cautious grandfather warns Peter of the wolves in the forest. The 3 hunters pursue the wolf with their rifles in hand. The sneaky cat crawls and climbs to catch the bird. The excited duck finds herself in a bit of trouble with the wolf. And we know in the story of Peter and the Wolf that the duck actually gets swallowed by the wolf. The big gray wolf frightens all the creatures in the meadow. And then if we go to listen to the piece, there's a lot of choices in this one. You can listen to each character's theme, but then you can also listen to the entire piece, which you'll see is quite long. Peter and the Wolf is like 20 some minutes long because it goes through the entire story. So when I read it to you, I just played the themes of each character, but when you listen to Peter and the Wolf, you'll hear how the music changes as events happen in the story. Then you can go to the 7 themes, and this piece is kind of a game activity. So what you're going to see is all the characters up on the top, and then some play buttons. And you're going to hit the play button, and you're going to try to figure out which character goes with each sound. So let's look at the first one. It's as loud as it goes. So that is the cat. So what I would do is take that button and drag it over to the cat. And this is the bassoon. So this is the grandfather. And this is Peter. Peter has a nice sound. Do you know what that is? That's a flute playing the bird. Ooh. That's a scary, haunting sound, and that is the sound of the French horns playing the theme of the wolf. Oh. And we know that the timpani or the drums are the sounds of the gunshots of the hunters. And there's only one left. Let's make sure it's the duck. Yes, it is. That's the oboe. Let's click the blue check button, and it'll tell us if we got it right. See how they all turn green? That means we got it. Good job. All right, then we're going to go to what's the instrument. Now this tells us a little bit more about the instruments that were played for each character. So here you'll see a picture of the character and then an empty box. And in that empty box, you're going to drag this instrument that is for each animal. So I'll go through it with you first so that we have one practice, and then you can try it yourself. So this is the bird, and the bird is played by one of these woodwind instruments. So it makes it a little tricky how they put all the woodwind instruments, but the bird is played by the flute. Yay, it even claps for you. And if we click on it, we can hear the flute. We also can hit this red discuss button, and it says, how does this woodwind instrument sound like a bird? Does the melody move slowly or quickly? So the music sounds like a bird because it's very high and airy like a bird is up in the trees. And then the second question says, does the melody move slowly or quickly? And the melody moves very quickly, just like the birds tweeting in the trees. This is a picture of the hunters. If we click on them, we can hear them. Now they made it tricky again because they put all percussion instruments on the bottom, but the timpani is the instrument that is played by the hunters. And the question for the hunters says, how do the dynamics and tempo of the timpani remind you of the hunters' rifles? Now remember that dynamics is how loud or how soft the music is. So the dynamics are they go from soft to very loud, just like a gun would, kind of building that suspense. The tempo of the timpani also does the same thing. It starts slow and it gets very fast, just like how a gunshot or how your body would feel like as that was happening. This is Peter. And Peter's played by a family of instruments. And if you remember the family of instruments, this will be really easy. We know it's not percussion because that was the hunters. The woodwinds were most of the animals except for the wolf, which was the brass. So we're going to click strings. And the question says, how do the strings remind you of the little boy Peter? And for me, the strings remind me of Peter because it's very happy, it's very free, like he's just walking out and having a great time, playing outside, doing what he wants to do, very carefree music, which is why they chose the music for Peter. Now this is the wolf. I don't know if you can hear that, but the wolf is played by a brass instrument, so they put all the brass instruments down here. It's very tricky, but we know that the wolf is played by the French horns. And the question says, describe the dynamics of the wolf's theme. How is the dynamics? Remember, dynamics is loud and soft. I feel like the dynamics can kind of grow louder and be softer, but when he's creeping around, it's very soft. But when something bad is going to happen, it gets very loud. And the grandfather. So these instruments are all woodwind instruments. We know the flute was the birds. We're not going to pick flute. Other choices are oboe, bassoon, and clarinet. We're going to pick bassoon because that's the lowest instrument, and that is the grandfather. The question is, does the woodwind instrument sound high or low? Well, I just said it. The bassoon is a very low woodwind instrument. And the duck. I love how it almost sounds like quacking. So the duck is played by a woodwind instrument, not the flute, not the bassoon, but these two instruments sound very similar, the oboe and the clarinet. The duck is the oboe. And the question is, describe the tempo of the duck's theme. The duck's theme is very slow compared to the other ones, isn't it? That's what I would say. And the cat. Cat's very quiet. I don't know if you can hear that. But the cat is played by the clarinet. Cat and clarinet both start with C, so that's one way to help us remember that cat is played by the clarinet. How does the woodwind instrument remind you of a cat? Well, I think that the cat sounds like the clarinet because he's very sneaky. And this cat is always up to something, wants to catch that bird, and every day thinks, today's the day, I'm going to do it. So he's very sneaky. We're going to go back to the list and look at the last two things. One is make your own listening map. And what a listening map is, did I click? Yeah. What a listening map is a way for us to kind of see the music, to kind of watch what's happening while we listen to the music. And in music class, we look at a lot of different listening maps because it's a lot easier to listen to something when you are also engaging your eyes. You're using two senses. You're hearing it and you're seeing it. So we're going to look at these different maps. You can click on any of these maps here. There's 4 different choices. So what you can do is click, you can click on down here. It'll show up in just a second. There we go. If you click on Student Toolbox, it works a little bit better. I think I should have it this way instead of the other way for this page. So you can click on some instrument. You can take any of these different things here. The flute kind of makes a I'm going to put a red dot for the cat, and I'm going to try to draw a cat. Oh boy, are you ready for this? This could be interesting. And I bet you will draw something much better than this creature thing that I just drew. But you can practice drawing the bird up in the tree. Nothing worked there. Well, anyway, I'm sure you'll be much better at this than me. But this is where you can just draw your own listening map. And the last thing on here is an assessment, which is another word for a test. So I want to see how you do on your test. So you're going to hit start and you're going to answer each question. What is the name of the composer who wrote Peter and the Wolf? Do you know what the answer is? The next question says, Prokofiev was commissioned to write an orchestra piece for which group of people? For children, adults, college students, or grandmas and grandpas? I bet you know that answer too. So you're going to go through each of these questions and answer them. Have fun with Quaver. There's a lot of cool things on here. You can also go back anytime and listen to our favorite songs from music class. The Peter and the Wolf part, though, will be gone next Monday because we're going to be starting something new for the week. So each new assignment now that I put out there, or new lesson, will only last a week, and then it'll be gone so we can replace it with a new one. So, have fun with Peter and the Wolf this week. Check back on Facebook. I'll be posting some other things on there. And then I'll see you on Friday for our Friday Read Aloud. And our book is right over here that we're going to read on Friday. So, take care. Have fun. See you later.